Hi, friends. Children's health and nutrition is a huge passion of mine because it's made such a huge difference in our family over the past 6 years. So, I was thinking about it recently, and over the past 6 years, our family of five has only had to use two antibiotics. Two antibiotics. We haven't had strep throat. We haven't had ear infections. There's so many things we've managed to dodge, and we've certainly had a few stuffy noses, but we have managed to not have to use too many antibiotics over the past 6 years. And it was because we made a change in our nutrition, what we're eating, and also how we're supplementing wisely. And so, what I want to share with you today is just some things that I've learned and some stories from our family and people that we know in a short format to give you an idea of what you can do to take the health of your child to the next level, because it truly is my passion to help other families experience what we've experienced. So I should start off by saying I'm not a doctor, but I will tell you that I got a lot of this information from a webinar, multiple webinars that I can make available to you that are done by doctors and nutritionists and chiropractors who have a lot more degrees than I do. And I trust the science that they're using, but a lot of it is science that you can find now. But on top of it, I trust it because I've seen it in action in my own life and the lives of people that I work with in my business. And so, really, children's health is passion. So that's why I'm sharing with you. Feel free to reach out to me and let me know what questions you have. But just to tell you a little bit more about our family, we have three boys now. And when I first started having this passion and I started doing research and learning more, that was when my first child was really just struggling to talk. His words just weren't coming. And he was about 2 at the time, and we just started to make a few changes. And he is now 8, and he is thriving in school. And I've really seen a lot of some of the anxiety issues that he had. I've seen them go to a much smaller level than they used to be. Also, our kids are doing, their immune systems are just awesome. And we have a 6-year-old and also a 2-year-old. Our kids get out a lot. They're exposed to a lot of germs, and yet I really am just so grateful for their health. And so that's why I'm sharing with you what I'm sharing. So I am going to actually share 3 products that have really made a world of difference for our family in this short webinar. So, but first I want to talk about what it is. What are the challenges that our kids face today? First, let's think about what kids were facing 100 years ago. 100 years ago, a lot of kids were struggling with polio or tuberculosis, and those are really not so much around anymore, which is an awesome thing. But instead, children today are struggling with things like asthma. 1 in 10 children has asthma. Unfortunately, obesity is on the rise. Allergies are kind of crazy, allergies even that are just deadly at times. Even mental health, unfortunately, it's tough to be a kid in today's world. And then even just the cycle of sickness, of sickness after sickness and never knowing when it ends. That's what our children face today. And they didn't face those things 100 years ago. So I find that very interesting because think about what food was like 100 years ago. 100 years ago, fast food really wasn't a thing. Most people were probably living off the land a little bit more, eating local, organic produce, and that's just not what normal families are doing these days. Sometimes because of time, our lives are busy. Sometimes we can't afford those things, and so I believe that a lot of the challenges kids face today really has to do a lot with what they're eating. Now, before you say, I can't handle this, I'm not going to watch this anymore, I want to release you from mom guilt. If you are having mom guilt while watching this and saying, well, I'm just going to feel like a terrible mom because I don't feed my kids, blah, 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 please don't. Because we're real moms, and I will tell you, I'm a real mom. I do my best to feed my kids as well as I possibly can. But we also are in a rush sometimes, so we do eat fast food, and we do believe in celebrating with food at times. So our kids have junk foods as rewards and things like that, and we like to reward them with other things. But I'm going to release you from mom guilt in comparing yourself. Don't do that, because you're doing the best you can. And so pat yourself on the back for that. For even watching this webinar, pat yourself on the back for that, because you're doing the best you can for your children. But I do hope that this will help you take what you know and the health of your family to the next level, just by making some small, simple changes with these 3 products that I'm going to share with you today. So the 3 products I'm going to share are actually all Shaklee products, and Shaklee is the company that I trust. And I encourage you to do your research as far as what supplements you trust, because unfortunately the supplement industry is not regulated, and it truly is a scary place. I feel like every other day I'm seeing some sort of report about all these bad vitamins that are sold, at Target or Walmart or GNC or whatever. But here's some more recent reports that I've heard that I think are very interesting. Okay, so recently there was a test of 324 women and children's vitamins, and out of those 324, all but three had lead in them. So that means, we'll do some math here, 321 had some trace of lead in them. Now, I don't believe that all of these supplement companies are bad people and they're adding lead, but I think that they just aren't looking at the sources of where they're getting their ingredients from, and lead is somehow finding its way into these women and children's vitamins. All but three, that's kind of crazy. Also, there's a study on ginseng that said that they studied 43 different ginseng supplements, and only 39 of them had no ginseng in them whatsoever. No ginseng, which also is crazy. So if you also are a person that you've tried supplements before and you feel like, well, supplements really don't make a difference, I tried vitamin C and it didn't work, I would say maybe you really didn't try vitamin C, because if you look at a study like that on ginseng alone, it could be that what you used didn't even have a trace of the actual ingredient in it, or maybe it's just not as pure as it could be. We all know the difference between organic and non-organic produce and the kind of ingredients or the nutrients that are in those. I think the same is true, that all vitamins are not created equal. And so I will let you know why I trust Shaklee, and it's really three reasons, okay? So the first reason that I trust Shaklee for our supplementation is, for one thing, they've been around for a long time. They've been around since 1956. I was actually raised on their products, so that's another reason why we were healthy kids. I had a perfect attendance score many years in school, and really we just did not struggle like other kids did. So but there's many, supplementation is kind of hot right now, and you will see a lot of new companies kind of pop up and then disappear, and then another new company pops up, and what do you know, it's the same company with a new name because they had a lawsuit under that name. And Shaklee doesn't have that kind of reputation. They have a legacy of quality that's been around since 1956, and actually their first, Dr. Shaklee invented the world's first vitamin 100 years ago. So just an amazing history with this company. And so the second reason for that ties in with that is their commitment to purity, because Dr. Shaklee had a commitment to purity. He really believed that people should be living in harmony with nature. And so they have higher than organic standards. They're not just checking what gets sprayed on it at the end. They're looking at what's in the soil and what's upstream and what's downstream, and they really check their ingredients. They have quite a process, exhaustive process. But they want to make sure that people are getting quality nutrients, because Dr. Shaklee really believed that if we give our bodies what they need, the nutrition they need, they will do what they're supposed to do. And so, as much as we do our best to feed our kids well, I have kids, and if you have kids too, they may not always be eating what it is that we give them. So they may not even be eating green beans when we give them green beans. Or maybe one day they'll have green beans and they're not having beets on those days, so they're missing out on the nutrients of beets. So that's part of why we supplement, because we just know that there are so many great ingredients or nutrients that we just can't leave to chance, and we can't just leave to their diet. We're going to do our best with their diet, but we're going to use supplementation for all the rest. But actually the last reason I trust Shaklee is because of the science behind it. And you can see many of their scientific studies, but they're very much respected in the scientific community. They have multiple published scientific studies. NASA approached Shaklee and asked Shaklee to make a product for their astronauts. And so scientists know Shaklee, they trust Shaklee, they're very much respected. And what Shaklee does is it merges the best of nature with the best of science, meaning that they make products that they know what nutrients our bodies need, they do the research for that, but then they also make sure that it's dissolving in the right place of our body at the right time through science, which I just love. It's this merging of science and nutrition. And so this is why we trust these products. So here are the three products that are truly best for helping your child thrive in so many ways. And by thriving, I mean in how they're doing in school, but also in their immune systems, okay? So first one is this multivitamin. It's Shaklee Kids Incredivites. It's a multivitamin. It's chewable, so my kids think it tastes like candy. But also, what makes this different is that it has an ingredient called lactoferrin in it, and lactoferrin is the same enzyme that is found in breast milk that keeps babies healthy. And this is Shaklee scientists that found a way to find this ingredient in nature, and they put it in this. So it's the world's first vitamin that has that lactoferrin in it, and it really is helpful for children's immune systems, but also to help our kids get all of the nutrients they need. So I have a friend who, her child was diagnosed with failure to thrive, and he just wasn't eating anything. Like he just was refusing. But they started to use this, and they were able to get him kind of beyond that because of the nutrition he was getting in this product. So, okay, so that's the first product, is the multivitamin. The second product is the probiotics, okay? And they're called Optiflora probiotics. And you know, probiotics are really hot right now because people are finding more and more and more benefits to probiotics, which I think is awesome. So most of the time you think of probiotics for digestive issues, and that is very true. But a lot of reports are now saying that there is a huge connection between the gut and the brain. One statistic I've heard is that a very high percentage of kids with autism also have digestive issues, which I think shows that there is a connection between the gut and the brain. And if we can help heal the gut, perhaps there is ways that we can also help the brain be living to its best as it can in natural ways. And so, so this probiotic, what I love about it is it's super small. I'm just going to show it to you. I give it to my kids every morning. I put it in their first bite of oatmeal. I slip it in. Look at how tiny this is. It is just so tiny, right? Okay. So I slip this in their first bite of oatmeal, and then I quick put another bite of oatmeal in their mouth so that they don't even know it's there. And it goes right down. What I love about this probiotic specifically is that, you know, other probiotics like in yogurt, those are very popular. That's great. But the problem is they aren't making it to the lowest part of the intestine, which is where 80% of our immune systems live. The lowest part of the intestine. That's where all the good germs are. And the probiotic is feeding the good germs to help your immune system do what it's supposed to do. So with that, Shaklee scientists saw that that was a problem, and they made that cute little pearl with 3 coatings on it. So the first coating dissolves in the harshness of stomach acid. Second coating dissolves in the upper intestine, and by the time the third coating dissolves, it is in the right place of your body at the right time and doing what it's supposed to do. And so I will tell you, I just have so many stories about this product from many of the customers I work with that just tell me, I cannot live without this product. It makes such a difference, not just for digestive issues, but also for immunity and mental health and things like that. So for a lot of kids with sensory issues, anxiety, as much as we can, we have to be feeding their guts as well as we can. So just to say, for immunity issues, this is what I give my kids daily. I really do give them these 2 products. And I really believe this is the key as to why we haven't had hardly any antibiotics in our house in the past 6 years, because they get this daily and they also get these daily. So these are just so important. And oftentimes I think part of it too is that my kids haven't had to be on an antibiotic. And if you have had situations with your kids where they get sick, they're on an antibiotic, they get off of it, and then next thing you know, in a little while later, they get sick again. It's because that antibiotic worked so well, and it killed off all the bad germs in the body, but it also killed off all the good germs in the lower intestine. And so all the more reason there's a need for probiotics to build up those good germs. But that's often what happens in these sick cycles for kids, is that they're sick, and then the antibiotic gets them better, but then as soon as they're off that antibiotic, then they're getting sick again because their natural immunities aren't built up. And so that's really why I believe so strongly in these 2 products, just for keeping our kids healthy and especially for the immune systems. But I told you I'd give you a 3rd product that really can help your child thrive. And so I want to share that one with you. And this is definitely kind of in both of those categories, and it is protein, and specifically the Shaklee Life protein. So why the protein? Well, for one thing, a lot of kids are not eating very healthy, right? Or they're eating on the run. Like, life is busy. We're going to soccer practice, so we're going to run through McDonald's. And I get it. We've done the same thing. But I will tell you that protein can be a healthy meal on the go to replace McDonald's. And I will tell you, like, Sunday nights, sometimes I don't feel like cooking. So I have declared Sunday nights as smoothie Sundays. My kids get to pick out their own smoothie, and sometimes I will also give them like some carrots and some other things to eat on the side, because they do like to eat as well. But this has 24 grams of protein, so it really fills them up if I give them 2 scoops. Other times I maybe just give them 1 as a snack. Every morning, actually, I give them a smoothie with their oatmeal, because my boys are bottomless pits. So all the more reason I want to be giving them more protein and less empty carbs. And before I was using protein, I was just giving them more Cheerios or things like that, and more bananas. Even though bananas are healthy, they really weren't filling them up. And so that's where I love this protein for them. And protein is associated with every function in our bodies. And so it helps us sleep better, helps us have more energy. Not that we want our kids to have that much more energy, but even sleep I know is such a huge issue with kids. But also many parents have said that they think that this protein is making a difference in how their kids focus in school because their kids are full longer. So having something like this with breakfast, it helps them just perform at their best because they're not hungry. And I'm sure you've felt the same way if you've been hungry and you've seen how it affects how you behave when you're hungry. So this is a product I strongly believe in. Specifically with a life protein, it also contains pre and probiotics that are great for the gut. And Shackley figured out how to put their probiotics in a powdered form. And it's got a protective spore that makes it through the stomach. I don't know how they do it, but at Shackley Science, they took 8 years to create this product actually. And then when it gets in the upper intestine, it creates more digestive enzymes so that it's easier to digest, but it's also getting those probiotics to the right place of the body at the right time. It's science plus nature. Oh, and this also has omega-3s in it, which are great for brain development. So if I were to suggest 3 products just to help your child go to the next level in their health, these are my 3 products. So it is these Incredivites, the kids multivitamin, the Optiflora probiotics from Shackley, and also the Life protein. So I would love to help you to get these. But first, I want to talk a little bit just about the cost of being sick, because this is something I don't think we think about very often. But you know, how much does it cost when your child gets sick? You know, I wrote down some things. I wrote down that probably it costs money to go to the doctor, right? Maybe about $100 to go to the doctor. There's also the cost of antibiotics if they're sick, maybe cough syrup and other sick supplies. If you have to miss work and you are docked a day of pay, you are losing money by not being able to work and having to take care of a child that day. But then also, even more than finances, our kids are missing out on opportunities when they're sick. They're missing out on a day of school and a day of learning. They are missing out on social opportunities, play dates, or even times at school for socialization. I know for me, if I'm gone from something, when I was gone from school, any time that did happen, I would come back and I would feel like I'm 2 steps behind of what's happening among my group of friends, because when you are gone, things just happen. And so when I was thinking about how I want to invest in my kids, I realized I'm going to pay for their health one way or another. I'm either going to pay for it now by way of prevention, as much prevention as I'm in control of, because I'm not in control of it all, but prevention, or I could pay for it later by co-pays and medications and things that have side effects. And I would rather give them nutrients that actually have side benefits. And I've shared some of those side benefits with you of many of these products. And so for us, this is the investment that we've chosen to make. And all of these products can be bought separately, or you can buy them all together. We have an awesome preferred membership program where you can get 15% off all the products. Or if you just not sure if you want to have a membership with Shackley, I recommend it because we have amazing skincare and non-toxic cleaners that are great for asthma and allergy issues and weight loss, about 1 million things. So the membership is worth it. But if you don't think it's going to be a strong part of your life, then you'll probably want to buy it at standard price. But even these products alone, these 3 products, standard price are about $110, which I think is a steal of a deal compared to a trip to the doctor. So that's really where we've chosen to invest our money. So I just want you to take some time and picture, where do you want to invest your money? Do you want to invest it in paying for when your child gets sick, or with preventing it and helping them have these side benefits? What would life be like if you didn't spend all your time in a doctor's office? What would life be like if your kids were living out to their full potential? I would love to help you. Whoever shared this video with you would also love to help you. So I encourage you to reach out to that person and come up with a plan and figure out what is the best fit for your family. So thank you for watching, and I'd love to hear from you. Bye.